This is WYMT Mountain News Weekend Edition.
Good morning, I'm Connor James. Thank you for joining us this morning. Today is Saturday, June 29th. A Southern Kentucky murder suspect is still on the run more than a month after the crime. Nicholas Rucker is accused of killing his girlfriend, Vicki Connor, in the home they were staying in on May 22nd. There's been several possible sightings of him, but police say it's a mystery where he is. WYMT's Phil Pendleton talked with the man who says he saw Rucker moments after the murder, and he says he believes Rucker will do anything he can to avoid being caught.
Because he lied to us.
TK Park says he saw Nicholas Rucker moments after Vicki Connor was shot and killed near his home.
He came out of the room, blood all over him, his hand. He got a gun.
Moments later, he saw Rucker run off, and police say he's been on the run ever since.
He will not go back to jail, because I know for a fact, he told me, I'm not going back to jail.
Kentucky State Police have received a lot of tips on where Rucker may be. One of the more recent ones was that he was in Rockcastle County. There was another tip where someone looked like him was spotted in Florida. Whether any of these people is actually Rucker remains a big question.
Well, we don't want them to approach them, but we do want them to contact us immediately and give us the information that they have.
Police say people in Rucker's position are desperate to stay free.
We've seen over the years that they'll do anything, to stay on the run or to try to get away with the crime that they committed. And they do things normally that the average person wouldn't do.
Police say they believe Rucker is getting help from someone to stay away this long. In Whitley County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Police say anyone caught helping Rucker will also face charges. Now, this morning, a Rockcastle County inmate is on the run. Police say Joseph Morris took over earlier yesterday while on a work release. Here, take a close look at him. Investigators tell us he was cutting grass when he ran off. Morris was last seen wearing brown khaki pants with an orange shirt. He's described as a white man with brown hair. He stands at 5 feet 6 inches tall and weighs about 105 pounds. If you see him, call 606-878-6622. We learned when a McCreary County man charged with murder will appear in court. State police say Preston Clark shot and killed his girlfriend's mother, Larissa Cox, Wednesday night. Friends say Clark and his girlfriend had just celebrated the arrival of a baby. Clark is due in court on July 3rd. And a man indicted in a Knox County human trafficking case pleaded not guilty yesterday. Investigators arrested Carl Hickman along with Michael Nason and Tiffany Cheek earlier this year. This is video of Hickman in the courtroom. They found the trio and the teen in an U-Haul in Cincinnati. Hickman faces a charge of unlawful transaction with a minor. Police think Michael Nason raped the girl while she was locked in the truck. He's facing 2 counts of rape. Hickman is due back in court on July 26th. Now let's check in with meteorologist Kelly McShane for a look at your forecast this morning. And Kelly, a hot one today.
Yes, unfortunately, we are definitely in full force with that summer pattern here in the mountains, and doesn't look like it's going to break anytime soon. But let's go ahead and take you outside this morning. A little bit of fog throughout the region, but as we progress through the morning, that fog will mix out and get on out. If you're leaving us with nothing but sunshine. In fact, a lot of us are seeing nothing but sunshine this morning, just those low-lying areas, especially into those valley regions where we are seeing that patchy dense fog. You can see that here into Perry County, Letcher County, as well as Harlan and Bell County. That's where we're seeing the bulk of the fog this morning. So just be mindful if you are traveling anywhere throughout those counties this morning. And those temperatures, we are already into those mid to upper 60s, a little bit warmer than the last half hour, 67, 60. 5 in Jackson, 70 already in Logan, West Virginia. Definitely going to be a warm one out there today. If you're hitting the roads, not really too much to worry about, especially throughout the region. Plenty of sunshine this morning, but be mindful of that patchy fog in those southeastern counties. And another hot and humid day is on the way this afternoon, and an isolated storm or two cannot be ruled out. Definitely that summertime pattern, and I'll have that full forecast in just a little bit, Connor.
All right, thanks, Kelly. A big announcement was made yesterday in Lexington. Governor Matt Bevin and Congressman Hal Rogers took to the stage, saying the first portion of Kentucky Wired Broadband Network is finished. The loop stretching from Lexington to Covington down to Louisville is now complete. The network will soon expand into eastern Kentucky, helping people in the area work remotely and find jobs online.
I don't want to speak to contracts because negotiations are going on, but people who are already in that community want to be able to have access to these rings and to the next rings that are coming. And there are people who are not yet in those communities that have expressed an interest in potentially being there as well.
After experiencing several delays and lawsuits in the past, the governor's administration expects the project to be completed in 2020. In McLean County, a state trooper is recovering after crashing during a high-speed chase. This is what the cruiser looks like. State police say the suspect sped away from a traffic stop in a stolen car. Investigators say Trooper Adam Wright crashed while going around a sharp curve. Trooper Wright suffered only some minor cuts to his face. The suspect, Tony Vanover, was later captured by deputies. He's facing 9 charges, including wanton endangerment of a police officer. And the Kentucky man who drove his car into a crowd of protesters during a white nationalist rally in Virginia has been sentenced to life in prison. James Field Jr. was sentenced yesterday after pleading guilty in March to federal hate crime charges. In August of 2017, Fields was at the Unite the Right rally that drew hundreds of white nationalists to Charlottesville. During the rally, Fields drove into a group of counter-protesters demonstrating against the white nationalists, killing one and injuring more than 24 others. And the Pine Mountain Settlement School hosted a farm camp this week. Staff say the camp taught kids the impact of farming has, from healthy eating to how farming helps the economy. Pine Mountain officials say the camp is a continuation of the mission they have year-round to teach kids how to be self-sufficient.
So basically what we've done is just revive the historic practices that have always been to some degree, but we're just trying to bring those back to another level.
The camp ended yesterday afternoon with a mini farmers market where kids bought food from local farmers to take home. Earlier this month, the Trump administration pulled back on the EPA's clean power policy. It instead allows states to regulate the power they produce. The changes could be a boost to Kentucky's coal industry, but what impact can it have on mining companies that have cut jobs? Well, Miranda Combs takes us to one plant as they look at the changes they're facing.
Those who run this plant feel like they're pulled anywhere the wind blows. Recently, it blew in their direction.
When you go out here and you see, these stacks, people don't understand that when you see those emissions come out, that's steam.
Kentucky Coal Association's Tyler White met us at Big Rivers Power Plant in Centertown, Kentucky. The plant was built on about 3,000 acres in 1984. We made a hot walk to the top for the best view. Here's the reason for our visit.
Just one more win for all Americans who live and work in communities where affordable, homegrown American energy sources like coal still matter a great deal. Another win for states like Kentucky.
Last week, the EPA did away with the Clean Power Plant policy, which was designed to control emissions with a blanket regulation across all states. Kentucky sued, saying it was unconstitutional. And the Supreme Court put everything on hold. And now, the EPA introduced the American Clean Energy Rule, or ACE.
What that does is it gives power back to the states and lets states essentially regulate how they produce and what their power mix is. This is a win, a big win not just for the coal industry, but a big win for America's energy dominance that we seek to maintain.
But over the past years, coal mines and power plants have shut down in Kentucky. This plant was demolished in Louisville after 61 years. So many have lost jobs because of the shutdowns in Kentucky, and meeting environmental regulations have cost Big Rivers alone about $500 million. Are we too far gone at this point?
No, we are not too far gone. Like I said, 30% of the mix, the nation's mix, is coal, 75% of Kentucky's. It will be that way for a long time to come. We just need to make sure that we're protecting that and understanding the value that this fuel source brings not only to the Commonwealth but to our nation.
Environmentalists disagree, saying ACE is a step back for both the climate and those who live near coal-fired power plants.
Obviously, I've seen the utility business change significantly over those 38 years.
Bob Berry worked his way up from janitor to CEO of Big Rivers. Here's his concern. Plants are built to last about 50 years, But every 4 to 8 years, when presidents change, so do the regulations.
We can spend all this money and then we have to go the other way. And then we spend all this money again and then we have to go a different direction.
That's why these stacks are symbolic of their fears.
We need to see some certainty in some of these regulations so that we can properly plan and do what's best for our membership and for our end users.
In Centertown, Miranda Combs, WKYT.
Coming up on Mountain News this morning, we are months away from the November election, but the race for the governor is already heating up. And later, we will check in with Jason Lindsay to see what he is working on for us in this morning's Hooked on Science segment.
Well, summer is in full swing, and it sure feels like it here in the mountains. I'll have your full forecast coming up next.